So when you get your environment set up for Playwright CLI, you're going to have this folder installed along with this folder installed. And within this folder, you have skills, which is essential to Playwright CLI. And then you got references, which is the resources and operations that the AI will need to build Playwright tools. And we're going to use test generation here. So the first step is to open up your chat and open up your GitHub Copilot. And I wanted to navigate to a website that you work on. Just navigate to this website using Playwright CLI. Very clear-cut prompt here, nothing too big, because it has all the operations here and the structure to follow. So I'll allow it. Okay, my environment's not really, I'm having a problem with my file path, so it just learned to use npx instead, which is actually good. That's exactly what I wanted to. And it's important here because it showed after running and navigating to a website, it shows this YAML file here, and it shows all of the context that it saw when it navigated to the page. All the YouTube videos, all the tabs. And what's important here is the references. And the references refer to certain sections of the context when navigated to. And this is where a CLI excels at compared to MCP. Because by referring to only certain sections of the context, the AI will only be using a certain amount of tokens since it's using a certain amount of contexts in its prompt. So I have all of my references to my context, and I want to generate some tests. So I'm going to go ahead and generate, make a prompt saying, please generate Playwright tests based on your findings. And I just want to use simple smoke tests here. There, I use great. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the AI think using Playwright CLI. It shouldn't take that long in generating the tests. Oops. Because all the operations and skills are already defined here. So, and we're going to have all the references found here. So, in a matter of seconds, the test is already generated with a couple of tests. Wow, look at all those tests that it came up with without me defining anything. I just said just make simple smoke tests, and it made it in such a quick deal. So this is the file made. I'm gonna go and keep this. Man, I'm glad it's just testing certain features, making sure they actually work. And it gave me a command to actually run my terminal this time. So you can go ahead and run the command in terminal. It's just to run all the tests defined here. Go ahead. I just want to make sure that what the tests that were generated actually works, and that it can actually be pass or fail here. So I can see that a lot of the tests failed, but that's okay. But at the same time, some of them was able to pass. So not all the tests were able to function correctly. That's fine. That's kind of expected from AI generation here, but at least I know that some of them pass and they're actually working. So that's how to create test generation using Playwright CLI. And since I worked with MCP in my previous videos, I'll just do a little comparison. So CLI, this is considered more of a lean approach when it comes to test generation. If you want your AI to create your test for you. And what I mean by lean is that it's token efficient. So it's going to use less tokens because, as I've shown here before, once navigate, it'll just use references to refer back to a certain section of context. So less context or only using the necessary context means less tokens. So if you're running out of tokens on your plan, or you're concerned about how many tokens you're using, then the CLI approach is the way to go. And it's a lot more straightforward. So if you already know what kind of framework you're using, or not framework, but like what kind of workflow you're already working with, then you don't need to, you can save yourself some time and just go with CLI, since your workflow is a little straightforward and you know what you want to do. However, if you want to add more AI to the process, then you may need to consider MCP. MCP, you can have your AI reason a lot more. Yeah, a lot more deeper reasoning, but that means it's going to need more context. So in order to create better tests, or really think about tests, or even make the AI self-heal the tests, then you're going to need a lot more context. It's not going to rely on the references that the CLI uses. So more context. So more context means more tokens, a lot more tokens. So of course these are tools, and with each tool, it just depends on the situation given. But CLI, if you're worried about token efficiency and such, and CLI may be the way to go, since all the operation skills are already predefined for you when you install it. But if you want AI to help with reasoning or self-healing, then MCP may be the approach for you. But that's the gist of it. That's a little demo of CLI and what it can do for you in test generation, and how it compares to MCP.